Hey, what's up guys, my name is Charlie. Today we're going to be doing some more requested reaction videos, and this video was requested by Billy Mount, and this video is Cinematic Excrement, episode 86, Lady in the Water. Oh boy, I don't think I've ever heard of this movie before, but I have seen content from Cinematic Excrement and it was totally awesome. So whatever he has to show us is going to be very interesting. The movie is going to be bad, but his review is going to be totally awesome. I do apologize about my horrible hair right now. It looks like a sort of watered watermelon. I just quickly took a shower because I got to go in about 30 minutes. As you can see here on my invisible Rolex watch, I'm checking. As you can hear it jingle on my invisible Rolex watch. I was just kidding, that's my keys. Yeah, let's check out the video, shall we? Let's go. Is the video frozen? Is
Welcome
there
to
we go.
Cinematic Excrement,
Just
hosted
took a
by a
bit of
man
time.
who may or may not be wearing pants.
Star Wars Imperial March t-shirt. Look at that.
If
Dun
you
dun
can't
dun.
tell, why should I? As promised,
I'm not
today
wearing
we're
pants.
returning to
Or
the
am
world
I?
of M. Night Shyamalan, and we're
You'll
looking
never
at
know.
his first real box office bomb, Lady in the Water.
Believe it or not, there was a
Oh,
time when it
Shyamalan.
seemed like Shyamalan could do no
Fucking
wrong. From the
Shyamalan.
late
I love the
90s
movie
to the
Signs.
early 2000s.
I love the movie Signs.
Early
Great movie.
zeros,
Swing away.
aughts, Audis, naughties. What is the right term for that decade?
Anyway, during that time,
The Sixth
Shyamalan had a
Sense.
string of extremely
Great movie.
popular movies. The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable,
Unbreakable, great
Signs,
movie,
and
Signs, yeah.
technically Stuart Little. Critical opinion was
Stuart
not
Little
always
was meh.
overwhelmingly positive, but these films made money hand over fist. Hell, The Sixth Sense made just under $673 million.
Fucking
That's
hell.
$1999.
Damn.
But with 2004's The
That's a
Village,
lot
it
of money.
looked like his magic was
Oh,
starting
The
to wear
Village.
off.
That was
The movie still made
dreadful.
good money, but its box office revenues were significantly less
disappointing.
than Signs 2 years earlier, and critical opinion was mixed, if we're being generous.
Yeah.
So the powers that be
It was
at
good and
Disney, who
bad.
produced Unbreakable,
It was
Signs, and The
50-50 for
Village,
me.
were naturally a bit skeptical when Shyamalan turned in his screenplay for his latest movie, Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water.
In fact,
Never heard of
Disney
it.
executive Nina Jacobson was reportedly quoted as saying, "Not buying it, not getting it, not working." The story
Damn.
of Shyamalan trying to sell Lady in the Water was chronicled in the book The Man Who Heard Voices, or How M. Night Shyamalan Risked His Career on a Fairy Tale. And while Shyamalan didn't write the book himself, it was clearly made with his blessing, and essentially paints him as a misunderstood genius going up against the evil studio executives who don't care about original storytelling. They just want to make money.
You'd think they were running a business or something. The nerve.
Now, Shyamalan is hardly the first director to clash with studio executives.
I like
Hell,
Shyamalan.
I
He's a
spoke
good...
extensively about
Most
Doug
of his
Frank's
movies,
troubles with
anyway.
20th
He's
Century
pretty
Fox
good.
in my last episode. But most
Most of his movies
filmmakers
are
don't
decent.
write a tell-all book about it, and most don't have their heads this far up their own ass.
What the
But M. Night Shyamalan is not most filmmakers.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
get me
very
wrong,
unique.
He has moments of greatness, but they're just that.
Yeah.
Moments. And it looks to me like at some point he started to let his own hype go to his head. The man couldn't see his own shortcomings if they jumped up and bit him in the face, and seems to be convinced that anyone who doesn't see his true genius is either stupid or has an ulterior motive.
It's a wonder he hasn't run for president.
Despite
it, why
their
not?
problems with the script, the people at Disney were so
I love
willing
this
to
guy,
make the
this
film.
actor. I
But I
can't
guess
remember his
Shyamalan
name, but he's
decided
an
if they
amazing
couldn't
actor.
truly appreciate his genius, they didn't deserve to make his latest masterpiece. So he took his ball
He was
over
in
to
Shoot
Warner
'Em Up.
Brothers, who were
I
more than
love that
happy to
movie,
produce
Shoot
the
'Em
movie
Up.
in Disney's place.
So let's
My
take a
God,
look
are
at
we
Lady
just
in the
that
Water
bad, or
and
is
see
this
what
guy that
true
good?
genius from a visionary director looks like.
The movie opens with a bunch of crudely drawn stick figures explaining the movie's poorly thought-out premise. Well, we're off to a great start.
Once, man and those in the water
Looks like mermaids.
were linked.
Those in the water? You mean fish?
They inspired us. They spoke of the future. Man listened, and it became real.
Okay.
But man does not listen very well.
Yeah, no
Wait,
shit.
did man listen or did he not Listen,
they didn't heed
we're not even
their
a minute in, and already I'm
words?
confused.
50-50,
So I guess over time, man stopped paying attention to those in the water
Yeah.
and moved further
They
inland.
lost their
and the
way,
water
I
people
guess.
were like, fuck it, we tried. And then man became more warlike, and we started killing each other. And one day we launch a nuke at China, and China's like, shit, who the fuck is shooting us? Oh well, wait.
I might be mixing up my stories.
But now I guess the people of the water have decided to risk being eaten by ROUSs to give man another chance.
Okay.
Don't worry, this'll all make sense never.
Man may have forgotten how to listen.
I thought we
Okay.
already established that.
Yes.
So here's our protagonist, Mr. Cleveland Heap, played by Paul Giamatti.
Paul
Once upon
Giamatti,
a time,
yeah.
he was a doctor with a wife and child, but after they were tragically murdered, he left his former
damn.
home and profession and took up a job as a repairman for
I
an
think he was in
apartment
Big
complex
Fat
in
Liar as
Philadelphia.
well.
And this complex houses some rather bizarre characters, like this dude who only works out one half of his body in the name of science or some such bullshit.
I call him
Big Fat Liar
Chekhov's
was a good
douchebag.
movie. Just want to know that.
You'll understand why later.
The complex's newest resident is Harry Farber, played by Bob Balaban, a film and book critic for the local newspaper. Yep, Shyamalan actually put a film critic in his movie, and he's kind of a self-absorbed jerk who spends most of his screen time loudly complaining about everything.
Because that's all critics ever do,
Yep.
right, Mr. Shyamalan?
Pretty
it's
much.
just non-stop negativity.
Yeah.
They certainly never had anything positive to say about your movies. Oh, wait.
Anyway, one night, Cleveland catches someone swimming in the pool after dark, which is a big no-no. This somehow leads to him falling on his uncoordinated ass and into the water. Fortunately,
What?
he's rescued from drowning and wakes up later in his apartment with a scantily clad woman.
Man, if I had a nickel.
This woman, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, is known as Story. You
Story.
heard me correct. Her name is Story.
Fuck it,
Oh,
why
it
not?
gets
Just
better.
go with
She
it.
apparently belongs
It's a
to
Shyamalan
mythical
movie.
race of people called Narfs. She's
Narfs.
Story the Narf. Yep,
Yep,
it's
well,
gonna be one of those.
fuck it, why not call her a
where
fucking
everyone
Smurf?
and everything
Paint
has
her
a
blue.
silly, nonsensical name.
Kind of like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, except without the charm. And the interesting characters. And the cool special effects. And the coherent story. Actually, it's nothing like Fantastic Beasts. Forget I said that.
And get used to that expression on Bryce's face. It's the only one she's got. And I
Ugh.
know she's a better actress than this. Hell, even in Twilight she gave a decent performance. And that's not easy to do.
Still better
But in
love
Lady in the
Story than
Water,
Twilight.
acting was
I'm sorry,
apparently
I'm
not
older.
an
I'm
option.
using old
Just stare at the camera
memes.
like your heroin just kicked in. There's actually a lot of staring at the camera in this movie. It's kind of weird.
Mr. Shyamalan, you do know that having your actors look directly at the camera is generally frowned upon, right? Oh, but far be it for me to
A
question
lot of
your
movies
genius.
sort of do it.
Anyway, Cleveland now knows Story is a narf, but like the rest of us, he has no idea what the hell a narf
Sort of
is.
like a
So he turns
breaking
to
out
one
the
of his
story, so to
neighbors, a
speak,
college
like
student
Deadpool.
named Yoon
He looks at
Soon,
the camera
played by
here and
Cindy
there,
Chung,
but that's a
with
comedy.
terrible fake Chinese accent.
University gives many pages of reading. What they think, I have no social life?
You know, I'm half Irish, and I can't exactly do a convincing Irish accent, so I probably shouldn't be throwing stones at a Chinese woman who can't do a convincing Chinese accent.
Yeah,
I am
that,
going
that
to
was a
ask
really
why
bad
Shyamalan
Chinese
had her
accent.
do the accent in the first place. I mean, it doesn't really add anything of substance to the character. Is
Yeah.
there some reason why she couldn't just use her normal voice?
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
she's
there
because
I
she's
go,
Chinese.
questioning your
Why not?
genius again.
So it turns out Yoon Soon's mother knows the origin of the narf.
It's an
Of course.
bedtime story, Mr. Heap.
Oh yes, because the word narf sounds so obviously Eastern.
But her mother won't tell the story unless she sees Cleveland as a child, for some reason. And that
Cookies
leads
and milk.
to this.
It's a beautiful story.
아름다운 이야기래요, 엄마.
Are there any parts that might be good to hear?
What
Ooh.
the fuck is going on with his leg? Why is
Did you hear that? I think that was the sound of Paul Giamatti's dignity committing suicide.
Well, this is Story's, story.
God damn it, Shyamalan.
Story is a Narf from the Blue World, but she is not an ordinary Narf. She's a Madam Narf, and she has been
Okay.
sent here to find a writer and inspire him to write a great book. Once she has fulfilled her task, she can return home with the help of a giant eagle known as an eatlon. But she is
What
being
the
hunted by
fuck?
something called a scrunt, a giant dog-like creature that can camouflage itself in the grass, and humans can only see it through a mirror. Some monkey-like creatures known as Tartutic have put rules in place
Basically,
to prevent a
tree
scrunt
hedgehogs.
from attacking a Narf, but this scrunt has apparently said to hell with the rules, and it's gonna try to kill Story anyway. So in order to get home to the blue world, she needs the help of a guardian, a symbolist, a guild, and a healer.
And if it sounds like I'm just making this shit up as I go along, that's because it's basically what Shyamalan did.
Yeah.
Lady in the Water is based on a series of bedtime stories he made up for his daughters.
Damn.
Genius.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if you're a dumb 4-year-old child, this story might work for you, especially if you're trying to fall asleep. Hell, the pace of this story is so slow at times, I have trouble staying awake while watching it. But for
I
anyone
bet.
who is old enough to tie their own shoes, it's an incoherent mess. How
Yeah.
did Story get here in the first place? Why does Story need a giant eagle to return home? Why
Yeah.
does the Scrunt not want Story to return to the Blue World? Why can humans only see
Lots
the
of
Scrunt
story
through a
plot
mirror?
holes,
If
doesn't
there are
make
rules in place
sense.
to prevent a Scrunt from attacking a Narf, why is it so easy to ignore these rules and attack anyway? And what the fuck is a Tartutic?
I'm guessing the
Tartutic.
answer to all of these questions is shut up and go to bed. Might work on your own children, but not so much the movie-going public.
Oddly enough, one critic actually suggested that if Shyamalan is going to use his children to judge the quality of his work, perhaps he
Damn.
should start making movies for Nickelodeon. Little did he know
Nickelodeon.
that would prove to be an even worse
Oh,
idea.
fucking
Speaking
The
of
Last
critics, in
Airbender,
order to
God
find
no.
the people that are supposed to help Story,
The Last
Cleveland turns to
Airbender,
Harry,
that
for
The
some
Last
reason.
Airbender,
And
Jesus
this
fuck
is where
no.
things get weird. The critic is able to describe each person Cleveland
newer
is looking
version was
for,
terrible.
symbolist, healer, and so on, since they're all based on archetypes. It's almost like Shyamalan is deconstructing his own movie and pointing out how cliched his characters are.
There is no originality left in the world, Mr. Heath.
He summed
You know,
up the
Mr.
movie.
Shyamalan, sir, pointing out your movie's flaws doesn't magically make it any better. The flaws are still there. All you did was make them more obvious.
So Cleveland manages to find all of Story's supposed protectors and the writer she's supposed to meet. And look who it is. Yep, it's M. Night Shyamalan himself. Typically,
Shyamalan's in
Shyamalan
every
in his
single
own
movie.
movies, but this
Yeah,
time he
he's in
decided to
every
cast
single
himself
movie he
as a
casts.
major
He was in
character.
Signs.
This
He was.
probably wouldn't
He's
have been a
always
big
in his
deal
own
if he
movies.
was as good at acting as he thinks he is at storytelling, but his performance leaves much to be desired.
He's always a cameo
And
in
here's
his
the
own
real
movies.
kicker. According to Story, he's not supposed to write just any book. He's writing a book that will change the world as we know it.
Oh,
It will inspire a future president who will grow up to lead the world into a new era of prosperity. But apparently the ideas in this book are so radical, so controversial,
so it's like a Donald
that
Trump
the
book,
author
The
will
Art of the
one day
Deal.
be assassinated.
Is
Knowing
it like a
his
parody?
actions will ultimately lead to his untimely death, the author decides to write his great novel anyway, bravely sacrificing himself for the greater good. Oh,
Of
what a
course.
guy. Is this really how Shyamalan sees himself? A great storyteller who will one day change the world?
Good Lord. I've heard of vanity projects before, but this
Well,
is just blatant autofellatio.
you need an ego to be a
Oh, really?
powerful
Anyway,
movie
the
director.
group
You
hatches
need a bit
plan
of
to get
ego.
Story safely
Everyone
to the
has an
Great
ego.
Eaton,
You need a
which
bit of ego
involves
to,
throwing a
you know,
pool
make a
party.
movie or
Just
do
go with it.
something.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and
Gives
the
them
Scrunt
power,
somehow
confidence.
manages to attack Story without
Yeah,
anyone
everyone's
at the
got an
party
ego.
seeing it.
I've got an
Bullshit.
ego.
It doesn't quite kill her off, but she is badly wounded, and our heroes start to suspect they're not actually the heroes.
Asked someone. He acted like he knew.
What kind of person would be so arrogant to presume to know the intention of another human being?
Oh, fuck off.
And as if that wasn't enough, the Scrunt actually kills the critic. Jesus Christ, Shyamalan, how petty can you get?
Even Roland Emmerich didn't kill off Siskel and Ebert in his crappy Godzilla movie. And if Roland freaking Emmerich is showing more restraint than you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate your life.
Anyway, they quickly figure out who the real symbolist is, and conveniently it turns out to be the son of the man who they thought was the symbolist. Now, the original symbolist was acting as a prophet by interpreting crossword puzzles.
Oh,
Yes,
Jesus.
crossword puzzles.
Jesus.
But if you can believe it, it's about to get even more absurd. His son, who is the real interpreter, reveals the prophecy
On
by...
cereal
I'm sorry, are you
boxes.
sitting down? Because you really
Let
should
me
be
guess,
sitting down.
cereal boxes or something.
Okay? Okay.
Here we
He
go.
reveals the prophecy by...
Are you sure you're ready for this?
Yes, come
I'm
on.
sorry, I want to make sure you
we're
are
ready.
adequately
I'm ready.
prepared
Yep.
for the
Cereal
utter
boxes.
ridiculousness that is to
It's
come.
gotta be cereal
because
boxes.
this is peak Shyamalan.
Okay, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's go. Yep. Cereal boxes.
Good.
What is it?
He reveals the prophecy by reading cereal
Ah, I
boxes.
knew it. I fucking
And it
knew
works.
it.
It actually fucking
I told
works.
you it was cereal
This
boxes.
is the
I
most
knew it was
amazing
cereal
thing I have ever
boxes.
seen.
Something so stupid. Because you got cereal boxes, you got little puzzles on the back of the cereal boxes. That's how I knew.
As foretold
you get word
by
puzzles
the
and
prophet General Mills,
quizzes on the
they
back
shall
of
bear
cereals.
witness to the great Eatlon in all his majesty.
I'm glad I was right. I
And
think
it
that's the
shall
first
come
time
to
I've ever
pass
been fucking
that
right.
we shall all
I'm so happy.
truly be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Amen.
Yeah, man.
So they finally figure out who is supposed to be the guild and the healer, for real this time, and story is revived. Oh, and remember the prophecy also called for a guardian? Well, guess who it is? That's right, it's Chekhov's douchebag. This crazy motherfucker who hasn't been involved in the story in any way since the very beginning is the one who has the power to stare the scrunt into submission.
I never saw
Until
him
the
on the
Tartufic
Noah's
suddenly
Ark.
show up and kick its ass. Where the fuck have they been this whole time? Why did they suddenly show up now?
He went
I
in
have
by
no
2
idea.
by 2.
And with that, the great Eatlon can finally carry story to safety. But what will become of our heroes? How will they lead their lives after this extraordinary experience? Will Cleveland finally come to terms with his family's passing
I bet
and go back
nothing's
to practicing
changed. I
medicine?
bet everything's just
Will
the
the
same.
author live his
Nothing
life in
learned,
fear, knowing
everything's
that
the
he
same.
will one day be murdered? Will Chekhov's douchebag ever start working out his left arm? I have no idea because that's the end of the movie.
Oh,
No,
that's
for
the end
real.
of the
The
movie.
eagle picks her up, they fly off, roll credits.
What?
That's it.
Well, what was even the point then?
No
Suffice
more
to
character
say, this
development?
movie is an absolute mess. The story is ridiculous, the pacing is awful, the acting is subpar, the characters are silly, and the ego just oozes off the screen. And the titular lady in the water doesn't actually do anything. She just sits there with that blank expression
Puppy
on her
dog
face
eyes,
and lets
yeah.
stuff happen to her. To be fair, it's not all bad. James Newton Howard's score is actually pretty good, and Paul Giamatti's performance is far better than this movie deserves. And there are moments where this movie crosses into so bad it's good territory and gets
Cereal.
downright hilarious. But there are also moments where it's
Was that
far
Mario
too boring
cereal?
to be enjoyable.
I thought I saw
no matter how
Nintendo
silly it
cereal.
is. And seriously, I just cannot get over what an ego trip this is. The
Yeah.
balls on this guy. Unless you're a Shyamalan
This guy's got
completist,
some good
I don't think I can
cojones to
recommend
fucking
this
back
one.
up this.
Well, December is coming up, so I guess that means it's time for another Christmas movie in our next episode. Until then, I am the Smeghead, and Hollywood can suck it.
Lady in the Water. Okay. That is a movie I am definitely not gonna watch. Warner Bros. Sixth Sense, The Village, Flew at the End of the World, Animaniacs, Twilight Saga, The Twilight, fucking Twilight, The Walking Dead. Jesus. Narf. A fucking narf.
I don't think I'm anything special.
Well, yeah, that's the truer words ever spoken. Yeah, that's the end of the video, and I have to say I've never watched Lady in the Water, but judging from watching this review, Cinematic Excrements review, I'm not gonna watch it. You know, Shyamalan is a sort of a weird, bizarre, wacky movie director. I like most of his work, but this I probably won't like. You know, he's a sort of guy that's a hit and miss. You know, not everything he creates is wonderful and amazing. He's not Steven Spielberg, you know, he's not James Cameron. You know, he's not the guy that every time he makes a movie it's fantastic and it's like wonderful every time you need to go out and watch it. You know, he's a sort of the weird, bizarre, wacky, sort of independent, sort of weird side of the movie franchise, sort of, so to speak. You know, it's good to watch when you want to watch something really bizarre. but you always know what to expect. It's like a bag of revels. You always know what to expect with Shyamalan's work. You know, it's always going to be wacky, bizarre, and most of it's going to be copy and paste. Sometimes he copy his work. But yeah, I kind of like his work. I think he's different, and I like different. You know, I don't want another a James Cameron, this Avatar movie, so to speak. You know, I just want simple, simplistic, weird, bizarre movies, and he fits into that category. He's the 1%, that you enjoy watching. But yeah, that's my explanation why I sort of like his style of movies. Not all of them, but some. A lot of people hate the movie Signs, but I absolutely love the movie Signs. I think Signs was an absolutely fantastic movie, but a lot of people hate that movie, which is quite shocking. Well, not really shocking. It's a Shyamalan movie, but I really did enjoy that movie. I just have poor taste. Yeah, let's end the video here. So if you like this video, make sure to give a like, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.